Does anybody want to make a case for Belgium? Roy?
No, well, they're up against it. You'd have to fancy Spain, but Belgium have stuck in the tournament. You think they were going out, what was it, last week when they were 2-0 down Senegal? Yeah, they showed a lot of fighting spirit. The managers made some big calls. So we certainly shouldn't underestimate them, but they are up against it.
So Lukaku has come off the bench in the last 3 games and scored every time. Would you start Lukaku, or would you think the French centre-halves would go, thank you very much indeed? He didn't start the last game, De Bruyne didn't start the last game, and Doku didn't start the last game.
Yeah, those 3 players are quite big names and really important players from the Belgium side. But if the manager is satisfied with the decision that he's made and the team perform and they manage to win the game, why not? Why changing the players? You know, Spain will be a different, of course, opposition. But if they give satisfaction to the manager regarding what he wanted to, I think he should keep the same player.
Spain have not conceded a goal yet. They've scored 9 in 5, haven't conceded one.
Yeah, because they ain't played France.
But it's a bit like, Spain's sort of like death by 1,000 cuts, isn't it? France will tear you to pieces if they have to, but Spain just keep the ball, pass.
They'll keep the ball going, and you could probably see with the pace they've got and the capability in the midfield to keep the ball and maybe get it to the wingers. You know, they can go short or they can go long. You know, you'd have to see if they can implement that against a France side. But France are, in any situation, you feel like, again, it all focuses back on their front men and what they're capable of doing, even when the game's not going in their favour.
You think Spain comfortably against Belgium?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I mean, it feels that way, doesn't it?
I don't know about comfortably, because, again, we got to give credit to Belgium. They're showing a bit of fighting spirit. Again, the manager's made some big calls. But, yeah, maybe just edge it to Spain, because, listen, they know how to win big matches. They're the European champions for a reason. So, yeah, just edge it to Spain.
I mean, there's a feeling about Spain is they're such a complete team, aren't they? They won 2 years ago. That means a lot, Patrick, doesn't it? Because you know what it's like when you've won something, you have an extra level of confidence and there's a balance to their team. It's hard to find a fault with them, isn't it, with Spain?
Yeah, it is. You know, before the competition, I think we were all convinced that Spain will be in the semi-final or the quarter-final. Big nation of football. But I think, you know, France will not going to have any kind of issues playing against them, because I think that France is a better team today than they were 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I don't think Spain were the better team today than they were 4 years ago. So I think, you know, they still have, of course, Yamal. Look at that smile.
I'm listening.
But I think
they've got to beat Belgium first, though, Patrick.
They will have to, but I don't see anybody really stopping the French team going to the final.
OK. All right. Well, we'll see.
We start with the breaking news this morning. England's Mark Gay is a major doubt for their World Cup quarter-final against Norway after picking up a hamstring injury in the win against Mexico. There are also concerns about Declan Rice, who's got a stomach bug, whilst Reece James continues to be assessed by England's medical team. Rob Dorset has the latest from Miami.
England arrive here in Miami later today for one final training session before that huge game in the quarter-final of the World Cup against Norway tomorrow. And as Thomas Tuchel gets on board the England team plane, he's going to have a number of concerns about injuries and illness, which could affect his plans for England's starting 11. Chiefly amongst those concerns is Mark Gay, who I understand is a serious doubt for the match because of a hamstring strain he picked up in the win over Mexico in the Azteca Stadium. Actually, Dan Burn is pushing him very, very hard to start the match if Gay cannot be passed clear to play. Now, I understand that Gay didn't take part in that final training session in Kansas City yesterday. Our cameras did catch him walking around the side of the pitch, but he wasn't able to train with the rest of his England teammates, so that is why he's a concern. As for Burn, well, he was outstanding for England when he came on in the 75th minute in the Azteca Stadium. 6 clearances from him, more than any other substitute in any other World Cup game in the past. Elsewhere, Declan Rice and Reece James remain concerns for Thomas Tuchel. Let's deal with Rice first. He has a stomach bug and is being kept away from the rest of his teammates. That's why he hasn't been able to train. But reports elsewhere suggesting that there's a sickness bug raging through the England squad. I'm told there's nothing of the sort. It's literally Declan Rice on his own. And I think there's confidence that once they get the fluids and some medicine into him, he should be fit to start tomorrow. As for Reece James, well, we know very well about the hamstring problem that's dogged him and kept him away from England training for the last 2.5 weeks. Whilst he was able to play a significant part in training in Kansas City yesterday, I think it'll be down to the England medics to tell Thomas Tuchel what part he'll be able to play in this game against Norway. And crucially, if he starts, will he be able to play a full 90 minutes? And if he does that, will he aggravate the injury to a point where his World Cup would be over at the end of the game?
OK, that's not quite what we wanted to hear, was it? We woke up this morning. Morning, guys.
Morning.
I mean, it was a concern before anyway, wasn't it, with Wright back in particular, but it's now who will play in defence a major worry for England.
Yeah, it is. It's not ideal, is it? I mean, Mark Gay's been fantastic. I think he's been excellent this tournament. But this is what a squad's for. This is why you pick a squad good enough for each player to come in and contend. And look, if we're assuming that he isn't going to be fit, I think Dan Burn has to come in. I think he's been, when he came on the other day, I thought he was excellent. And I think this is a kind of game that would work for Dan Burn up against Erling Haaland. I think he's got a good record against him, not conceded in 7 times that they've played against. But Erling Haaland will know that as well, and he'll want to change that record if this is the case. But like I said, this is what a squad's for, and I think this is why you pick players that can replace injured players. And this is the moment for someone else to step in and try to become a hero against one of, if not the best forward in the world at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's World Cup, right? You get injuries, then you usually go along. So put a bit more meat on the bone for us, please, Dave. You know, why might Burn be a good option here?
Well, I think Darren's touched on it there, but obviously he's got a good record against Haaland. But also, if you think about the teams that England could well be facing between now and a potential final, if there's one team that's going to be playing a big physical centre-forward that you want a big physical centre-half to play up against, it's Norway. Spain, no. You don't really want him, Dan Burn against Kylian Mbappe. Argentina, Lionel Messi, plus one of Alvarez or Lautaro Martinez. They're not the big physical imposing one that's going to be trying to muscle you off the ball. So if there is one team that you want Dan Burn to play against, maybe it is Norway. And then you also look back at the game against Mexico, where he did brilliantly when he came on with all those clearances, heading the ball over the halfway line. And if we look at the 1v1 aerials between Erling Haaland and Premier League centre-backs, this is since Erling Haaland has been in the Premier League. So since he came to the Premier League in 22-23, only William Saliba has won more aerials in direct 1v1 aerial duels against Erling Haaland. You can see Ezri Konsa's on there as well. But the issue there is, well, is Konsa going to play at right back because of the Jarrell Quansah situation, because of the Reece James situation? So it's a question mark as to A, does Dan Burn play, and B, who does he partner?
Is Burn's pace a bit of a worry, Darren, if he gets isolated one-on-one with Haaland?
Yeah, look, yes, of course it is. That's the only question mark, really. Dave's absolutely right. His aerial ability is second to none in the squad, and I think he will be relishing the opportunity to go up against a big, strong centre-half, because that's his game. That's what he wants to play against. If he could pick an ideal striker to play against, it's someone who's going to be physical against him and want to beat him in the air, because that's not going to happen the majority of the time. It's the movement in and around the box, and Erling Haaland, along with a few others, is the best in the world at doing it. So I think that's where you will have the likes of Ezri Konsa in and around him. So if he does get that movement and get in front of him, he's got his teammates to back him up. I think this is a game where perhaps one of the deep-lying midfielders sit a little bit deeper than they normally would, just to protect, if that's going to be the case, just to stand in front. But look, he's the best, one of the best forwards in the world. Like, he's going to get opportunities, and I think this is what players live for. This is why you be a footballer. You want to come up against players like this, and I think if this is the case, everyone's going to be devastated and gutted for Mark Gay. But if you're Dan Burn, you'll be rubbing your hands together, thinking, right, now it's my moment. Now it's my time to go and show what I'm about.
All right, so Gay's he's not 100% out here. Okay, it's still in the balance.
Hamstring. You tell about hamstring. I mean, if it's a hamstring strain, what are the different kind of strains that you can get? And realistically, can he play this game?
Well, any kind of strain against a forward like Haaland with a movement. You're talking about Dan Burn's pace. If you've got a hamstring, even a little strain, it's going to be even worse. You may as well play someone that's fit enough to be able to sprint, because you can do all the tests you want in training, but soon it doesn't replicate a movement in the match. And soon as Erling makes that run and Mark Gay would go with him, that's when it could go. And you don't want that. If you're going to progress in this tournament, which England should be confident, whatever player comes in, confident progressing, you want your best players ready for the next 2 games.
Right, we're going to give your 11 if Mark Gay's out in the next hour.
Okay.
So make sure you stay tuned for that. Right now, though, we've got a brand new interview with England left-back Nico O'Reilly. You'll hear it shortly, but we just wanted to remind you what his Manchester City teammate Erling Haaland said about England yesterday. Let the mind games begin.
I think everyone should stay humble, but yeah, they should be confident of progressing, definitely.
Is all the pressure on England, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Can you take advantage of that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think there's some clear favourites out there. England's one of them, so I think all of you should put every single pressure on the English lads.
Yeah, it could be mind games. But yeah, look, they're a good team as well. They've showed that throughout the whole tournament. It's not just certain players that we need to worry about. They're good collectively, and yeah, it's going to be a good game, a good battle. Erling's Erling. We all know what he's like. He can score goals. He's dangerous in the box, and yeah, he's a real threat. But yeah, they need to get him the ball there first. A lot goes into it. But yeah.
There's so many Manchester City players in this squad. How much does that give you an advantage in maybe preparing a plan to deal with them?
Yeah, I guess it takes a toll on it, but yeah, I think keeping Erling quiet, it gives us a real chance to win the game. Obviously, we know the threat he can cause. Unbelievable striker, world class, and he showed that throughout the tournament, scoring every game he's played in. But yeah, no, I think we're mainly focusing on ourselves and focusing on our game rather than his.
We know what he can do, and he's shown that in the World Cup as well. We'll be prepared, and we'll try our best to stop him and stop the rest of the attackers doing what they've done in the tournament so far. Norway, I feel they're a very good team, and they've shown that so far this tournament. They play with a confidence and a directness that obviously has been working for them so far. So that's what I see.
Yeah, England players didn't want to bite there, did they? Seemed quite serious. But Haaland, I think, in many people's eyes, he's gained a lot of popularity, hasn't he? Because people have seen the funny side to him, the cheeky side to him. We saw it there as well.
Yeah, I really like him. I really like the way he speaks. I think his mind games from him. He'll be confident that he can go. He's 1 goal behind the top goal scorer, yeah. So he'll want to go out and score 2, 3 goals tomorrow. But put all the pressure on England because look, he's played in England for the last few years. He knows that the English media, the English supporters, they will be putting pressure on the players to go through. I think that Norway have been fantastic this tournament, and I think unexpectedly, I think no one would have really put them going that far in the tournament apart from Erling Haaland, this man. You'd give him a chance and he scores. I love the way he speaks, but I love the response as well. His is tongue in cheek, but all the pressure on the England players. But they didn't bite. They didn't bite. They just said, look, we know what he's about. Everyone knows what he's about. Yeah. They're going to be asked those questions, and that's a good response.
As England progress to the knockout, or through the knockout stages, I should say, the infamous disciplinary tightrope comes into play. These 4 players behind me are all at risk of missing the semi-final if they pick up a booking against Norway and, of course, if England win. Despite that, Nico O'Reilly won't be changing his approach in Miami.
No, we've not spoke about it. It's not really been a discussion that we've needed to have. But we've all played in yellow cards before in the league, cup games. So yeah, we know what it's like. Of course, there's risks there, but yeah, it is what it is. No, I think approach it the same as every other game. Yeah, of course, there's risk if we win and get a yellow card. I'd miss the next game, but I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on playing my game and doing what I need to do.
Bukayo Saka is one of the players not on a yellow card, and he's praised Thomas Tuchel's influence, saying they're improving with every match under the German.
It's been amazing. He's been really good for us on this journey, and you've seen from the qualifications to now the results that we have, they speak for itself. And yeah, in this World Cup we're still unbeaten, and like I said, we're just getting better and better each game. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to how it ends, and yeah, like I said, he's been great for us.
England know exactly what's at stake. Beat Norway, and a World Cup semi-final against Argentina could be next. France have already booked their place in the last 4 and will take on either Spain or Belgium. But when asked who he thinks are the strongest side left in the tournament, this is what Saka had to say.
Bukayo, in your opinion, which is the strongest national team in this World Cup and why?
England.
Why?
Because my opinion.
I love it. He's so confident and so secure in what he said there. What have you made though of Saka in general in this tournament? Does it look to you like he's playing with something that's holding him back? Maybe it's an injury or something else.
Yeah, a little bit. I think holding him back was the term I was going to use. Just a little bit. He looks like he's protecting something. Yeah. And look, it's been a long, grueling few years for Saka at such a young age. But I think now is the business end of this tournament. And I mean, there was no mind games from Saka there saying England are the best team left. And I love that. I love the confidence that he's showing. But I'd rather him miss the first part of the season for Arsenal. Of course, being a Spurs fan, I'd rather him do that and just give it everything for England in the last 3 games. He's one of our best players, such a talented footballer, and we've not really seen that as such yet in this tournament, but 3 games to go, hopefully, that he shows up.
We've seen flashes, haven't we? We've seen a couple of assists, but he's yet to give us the Bukayo Saka that we know that he can be. I don't want him to miss the first couple of months. We're not all in agreement on that. What do the stats say about how Saka's performing?
Well, maybe he's just missing that goal-scoring moment. That's kind of what we're waiting for. But you're right, the injury that he has and continues to have throughout this tournament meant that he has not started every single game. You would think that he would be in England's strongest 11 ahead of Noni Madueke. Yeah. But if we have a look at his minutes played per assist, he is right up there with some of the players at the top of the leaderboard there. 3 assists, and he's averaging an assist every 64 minutes. I mean, Michael Olise is on there. Unbelievable. 5 assists with an assist due every 97.6 minutes of play. So you can see, despite him not getting a lot of game time, he is still delivering when he is on the pitch. And also you think about the kind of different role that he played against Mexico. Often England were defending in a back 5, and he is able to give you that sitting in at that right wing-back position, whereas that's not the strength of Noni Madueke. So for Bukayo Saka, when he is on the pitch, I think he is still delivering, but there's obviously still room to grow in his ability to kind of improve and get to that very top level.
It's interesting, isn't it, those stats, Saka, and we were all saying that we haven't seen the best of him yet. He's still delivering, really, in terms of the numbers. England's Mark Gay is a major doubt for their World Cup quarter-final against Norway after picking up a hamstring injury in the win against Mexico. There are also concerns about Declan Rice, who's got a stomach bug, whilst Reece James continues to be assessed by England's medical team. Rob Dorset has the latest from Miami.
England arrive here in Miami later today for one final training session before that huge game in the quarter-final of the World Cup against Norway tomorrow. And as Thomas Tuchel gets on board the England team plane, he's going to have a number of concerns about injuries and illness, which could affect his plans for England's starting 11. Chiefly amongst those concerns is Mark Gay, who I understand is a serious doubt for the match because of a hamstring strain he picked up in the win over Mexico in the Azteca Stadium. Actually, Dan Burn is pushing him very, very hard to start the match if Gay cannot be passed clear to play. Now, I understand that Gay didn't take part in that final training session in Kansas City yesterday. Our cameras did catch him walking around the side of the pitch, but he wasn't able to train with the rest of his England teammates, so that is why he's a concern. As for Burn, well, he was outstanding for England when he came on in the 75th minute in the Azteca Stadium. 6 clearances from him, more than any other substitute in any other World Cup game in the past. Elsewhere, Declan Rice and Reece James remain concerns for Thomas Tuchel. Let's deal with Rice first. He has a stomach bug and is being kept away from the rest of his teammates. That's why he hasn't been able to train. But reports elsewhere suggesting that there's a sickness bug raging through the England squad. I'm told there's nothing of the sort. It's literally Declan Rice on his own. And I think there's confidence that once they get the fluids and some medicine into him, he should be fit to start tomorrow. As for Reece James, well, we know very well about the hamstring problem that's dogged him and kept him away from England training for the last 2.5 weeks. Whilst he was able to play a significant part in training in Kansas City yesterday, I think it'll be down to the England medics to tell Thomas Tuchel what part he'll be able to play in this game against Norway. And crucially, if he starts, will he be able to play a full 90 minutes? And if he does that, will he aggravate the injury to a point where his World Cup would be over at the end of the game?
Right, a few problems for Thomas Tuchel. With all the information that we've got right now, we're just going to assume that Mark Gay is going to be out. We don't know for sure, but assuming he is, what's your 11 for the game?
Well, look, assuming he's out, I go with Dan Burn at centre-half alongside Konsa. I think you need those two physical players against Erling Haaland. There's arguments Konsa could play right back and Stones could come in, his former teammate, but I think you just go with Konsa. I think he's been brilliant there. I also think I wouldn't risk Reece James, so I play Jed Spence right back. I thought he was brilliant again when he came on the other day as well. I thought he was great. Saka for me has to play. I think he is the better option, him or Madueke. I think he's the better option. I thought Gordon was brilliant in the match against Mexico, and I've known players, I've done it myself. I've played with a stomach bug. He's obviously going to be over that Declan Rice. I think he's too important to leave out. And obviously the front two speak for themselves. We
don't want another Gary Lineker moment, do we? On the
pitch? With the right back situation, though, as you say there, you could go with Stones at centre back, Konsa at right back. Would that be a more defensive option to go with Konsa?
It would be. I think pace would be an issue, in my opinion, with Stones and Burn if you played those two. I think Konsa gives you that little bit extra in terms of that. Jed Spence, I'd probably, if I'm Thomas Tuchel, I'd be saying hold back on getting forward too much. You could be a covering player because he's got pace to burn. And look, his delivery is obviously the question mark, and Saka will cut back, roll it back. Like the game when Declan Rice filled in at right back, that was perfect because he could deliver the ball. Spence can't really do that. But I think against someone like Haaland, you need those two physical players. I know Stones can give you that, but I think pace would be an issue if you went with Stones and Burn.
I like that as well, because that back four offers you a little bit of balance, because Norway, they're going to play Alexander Sørloth on their right-hand side, who's, for any other nation, he would be the starting number 9, big physical striker. He's not really going to be running in behind. They're going to be picking out aerial balls to him, so you need the height of O'Reilly up against Sørloth. And then they play like a more dribbly winger on the left-hand side, whether it's Nusa, whether it's Shelder. And so you need, I would say, Jed Spence to deal with that 1v1 threat, because if they get round him, he's got the pace to get back. So that would give us a little bit of balance alongside the two big centre-halves as well.
What we should have as well is confidence going into this game. And Spence and Dan Burn in particular, they came on, we heard there, Dan Burn 6 clearances for more than any substitute in the World Cup so far. The confidence that will give you, and then to go, right, you've done really well, we've got injuries, there's your starts. Go and prove yourself, and then you can compete for the semi-final. Touch wood if we can get through.
Yeah, it should be full of confidence after Mexico City, right? I mean, that was an incredible challenge which England came through. Unfortunately for Jarell Quansah, he didn't come through that game, and he's not going to come through the next couple of games. I mean, his World Cup could be over, couldn't it?
Potentially, because his ban has been extended to 2 games now. The FIFA disciplinary committee decided that the tackle that he was sent off for against Mexico was deemed as serious foul play. It's an automatic 1-game ban for a red card, and then because it was deemed as serious foul play, he's now been added an extra game. So look, people at home can make up their own minds. A, on the tackle, was it serious foul play, and whether people think the punishment fits the crime, essentially, because players can play a maximum of 8 games in a World Cup, and now to be missing a quarter of those games, 2 of those games, is that proportionate? The England players have been asked about this. We could hear from Bukayo Saka and Nico O'Reilly.
It's sad. It can't get appealed or anything, so we just got to get on with it now. Obviously, I feel bad for him as well. His first tournament, he's young, but yeah, I feel bad for him. But yeah, get on with it.
I just found out that obviously it's a 2-match ban, which is incredibly frustrating for us and for him the most, I'd say. But yeah, it's what it is. We're not here to complain, we just need to adapt and pick a team that's ready to beat Norway.
OK, two things for you, Darren. First of all, from a player's point of view, as Dave pointed out there, you only got 8 games. So should you get a 2-game ban, it's a quarter of the most games that you could play that you would miss. And second of all, do you think that was serious foul play? What was he putting the other player in danger?
Look, every challenge you go into puts an opponent in danger. He's first and foremost won the ball. Yes, he's gone over the top, and stills make it look terrible. I don't think it's serious enough. I don't think that's serious enough to overturn the 1 game and go with 2. And like it's gutting for the player. That's his World Cup over, whether we go through or not. I think if we even make the final,
I think he'll get back in the side.
You're not going to bring him back into the side. Reece James potentially is going to have another couple of games to get fit. I think it's nonsense to overturn that and give him a 2-game ban. I don't think that's enough. I really don't.
OK, let's go through some of the morning's newspapers for you. What have you got for us, Dave?
Well, let's start with, obviously the World Cup leading the way on all of the papers, front and back pages for some of them as well. The front of the Sun talks about Jarell Quansah's ban with the headline, "Ban out of order." This is the fact that Jarell Quansah is going to be banned for 2 games now. FIFA deeming that the tackle in the Mexico game was serious foul play and that warranted an extra game. England furious about this, in particular Thomas Tuchel. I think more so the way that the replay was shown to the on-field referee by the VAR. I think England and Tuchel were disappointed that the slow-mo came first before the real-time incident.
It was a still first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And a still.
Now, the thing with the still is that is shown to the referee to show the point of contact. It's not necessarily about force or anything else. It's the point of contact on the opposition player. So they can see a still image. It's not against the rules. But I think England were disappointed that one came first before actually they showed him winning the ball. But as we know, winning the ball is irrelevant if it's a poor tackle. And as the Sun do, they've voxed some of the England fans out in America. There's some great responses here, including from Alan Douglas, a fan in America, saying they rip the fans off blind and bend the rules for their mates when it suits them. Talking about FIFA. But apply them to the letter for us. Perhaps we should get King Charles to give Infantino a call.
Well, that's it, though, isn't it? Is the reason why this leaves a bad taste in the mouth? It's because of what's happened with the Trump-Balogun situation. You're going to get this now for every team when it happens.
Yeah, of course you are. Hence the response. Yeah. Get King Charles to ring up. I think it's outrageous getting a 2-game ban for that. I don't think that's serious foul play. I think it's a challenge that he's clipped the ball, gone over the top, and as you said, the still looks bad. The still looked bad on the Balogun one. Yeah. Yet that got, not overturned, but that got suspended. And this one got a 2-match ban. It's basically his World Cup over. I feel for him, because if he comes back, when he comes back, if we're in the final, they're not going to throw him straight in. So I do feel for him, because I thought he was playing well up to that point as well.
Yeah, he'd had a good game. And our focus is obviously on Erling Haaland. The papers talk about Erling Haaland as well. In the Daily Mail, the headline is Operation Stop Haaland. They say pinching, chirping and Burns' know-how will be crucial if Tuchel is to nullify Norway's goal machine. This from Jack Gorn. He says, how do you stop this guy with great difficulty? Stones knows it, Thomas Tuchel knows it, anybody who watches the Premier League knows it. Crucially, Haaland knows it. He describes the way he dealt with Gabriel as almost disrespectful, the way he bullied him against Brazil in the previous round. And that is the major focus, really. Dan Burns' physicality could well be on the agenda for England, shall we say, against Erling Haaland.
Pinching and chirping,
yeah,
you fan of that?
Stick my neck on the line, I think, and say pinching's probably not going to be enough to stop Erling Haaland. So it's difficult, but it is literally, you stop Haaland and you're probably going to win the game.
Yeah.
Do you, as a player, do you know, well, if I give this guy a bit of chat, my opposite number today, I'm going to get a bit of joy? Can you tell if you can wind them up?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, but I don't think he can. Look, he has this ongoing battle with Gabriel, doesn't he? And he obviously scored in the previous round. So he relishes opportunities, like he relishes battles like that, and he will be relishing the chance to face Dan Burn as much as Dan Burn will be against him. But you know, if he makes a mistake, Dan Burn's not going to be scoring, and if Dan Burn does, it could be 1-0.
Yeah,
it'd be quite good if the roles were reversed. Though Burn climbs all over him at a corner and heads one in. Let's get on to the Times for a fun comparison between Britain's Wimbledon sensation Arthur Ferry and one of England's main men at the World Cup, arguably the main man, Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, feels like a very British thing to do. This the Times have compared Arthur Ferry and Jude Bellingham. Obviously, Arthur Ferry through to the Wimbledon semi-finals. It should be a brilliant occasion. And the potential for tears. No, I'm not sure it's a word. Their celebrations and their tabloid headline promise. And I mean, one category is also their granny charming ability. So,
excuse me?
It's I mean, I guess it's to appeal to everybody.
Right. Okay.
Not in the way you're thinking.
No, I wasn't thinking anything of it.
It's a future collab going on here, by the way.
So look, I mean, it's come out in an honorary draw. Right. This one, as you might expect. But I think the idea is two sporting heroes potentially this summer. How do they compare?
Right. Okay. Interesting. You watching any Wimbledon?
Not really, no. Bits and pieces. Obviously, he's done fantastically well, but yeah, there's a future advert going to be taking place with these two, and certainly if they both go all the way, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah.